Welcome back to another video. In today's video, by the title, you can see we'll be doing our half-year awards. Pretty simple. Basically, all the ruling is that it has to be from January 1st till the time of the recording. And yeah, we're going to be having AEW, WWE, and I think we might have some TNA in our prediction or awards. But yeah, should be pretty fun. Interested to see what we have different. And yeah, let's kind of get straight into things. And we're going to start off with the Rising Star Award. Now, for my pick, I'm going Joe Hendry. And yeah, I mean, he's been an absolute, top star on all of social media. Got charting a charting song, which I know is super impressive. And yeah, I mean, he is one of the few people to go from WWE or from TNA to WWE in this merger they're kind of doing right now. So yeah, just huge name, and yeah, it's been one hell of a year for him.
Yeah, as far as just, a name and, just what he kind of built for himself, definitely Joe Hendry is a great pick. However, my pick is going to be based off of slightly different categories, I guess you could say, and that's going to be Mariah May, she kind of came out of nowhere this year and started her thing with Toni Storm as her sort of sidekick, grew into a wrestler, a tag team. Now she's potentially going to be a world champion coming soon. And just her story of kind of going up the ranks and getting to that number one contender spot and winning the Owen Hart Cup tournament. It's all kind of panned out really well. Got me really behind there. I'm interested in the story, and yeah.
Yeah, and also the moment a few weeks ago where she pretty much just bloodies Toni Storm, which is also a really cool moment.
Everything with Mina Shirakawa as well.
Yeah. So yeah, for our next award, we have Best Non-Wrestler. This can be commentators, announcers, whatever. Just can't be a wrestler. But for me, I am technically going to wrestler, but that is Nigel McGuinness. I just love his commentary. I think he's one of the best right now. I love his hatred he has towards Bryan Danielson. That's always funny. Him always like fanboying for Toni Storm and Mariah May. Him being heartbroken over when they had their split. But yeah, I think he's doing some great work on commentary, and yeah, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, and for my pick, I'm going to go with Prince Nana. Now, I don't remember if this specific thing was this year or last year, but the whole, I'm going to steal your bag of weed thing from Hangman and Prince Nana, his reaction to it, just his dances that he does, him getting the crowd involved, just the spots he'll kind of take, like the little bumps that he does take. Just things like that. He just does a lot of little things to make the crowd laugh and get you more in the swerve. When the crowd starts cheering for the other person, he kind of tries to sway the crowd to go for swerve. The whole dancing gimmick and everything. Prince Nana has been amazing. Without him, I don't know if Swerve would even work as well as he has. So I think Prince Nana added a lot to Swerve.
Yeah, he's one of the few managers who actually fill a prominent role on screen. Them two are just the main two managers I can think of right now, which is kind of a lost art in wrestling. But yeah, next up we have Feel Good Moment. This is pretty simple. For me, I'm going Cody Rhodes finishing the story. Now, obviously, this is kind of a year-long thing that led up to the moment, but him winning at WrestleMania 40, having him celebrate with his family, with his mom, with Brandy, and then also pretty much his best friends in wrestling came out, like Randy Orton, Cena, Punk, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. So really just a feel-good moment, and even when I watched, I was really emotional because of just the story that was been built to that point. So it just felt even cooler, big moment, and just made me emotional, which is rare.
Yeah, and even seeing some of the backstage things from the documentary that they put out was really cool to see from behind the scenes of that as well.
Yeah.
But for mine, I originally had it as Sting's retirement. But just a great match, great way to go out, kind of happy for him to go out on his own. Did a lot of crazy spots leading up to his retirement, and no one got hurt, thankfully. Especially Sting, obviously being the age that he was, kind of performing that. But I did sway from that one, and I will give it to Rhea's hometown win in Australia, in her hometown. I guess the big win that she kind of compared it to her WrestleMania when she won that. Just her going into the crowd with her mom, dad, sister, whatever family it was in the crowd, just kind of cheering with them and going in the ring. The kind of tears coming down her face, and you could tell how much it meant to her. And that emotion came to the TV. It kind of made at least me as a viewer emotional and watching it a little bit.
Yeah. Next up, we have best return slash debut, and who do you have for this one?
And for this one, there was a lot of people to go off. I believe I was kind of leaning towards MJF just because that return was just so big and massive, slightly unexpected. But what I did go with is Will Ospreay, just his debut, just going to AEW. Obviously, we've seen him there before. He's had great matches in AEW before actually signing there. But them getting Will Ospreay, and there was talks of WWE potentially getting him before they made it official, and people are sort of worried about that. But it does feel like the right decision that he made to go to AEW, help build that brand, and now he's literally the face of the brand, one of the most over people, one of the best wrestlers as well. So yeah, Will Ospreay.
Yeah, really enjoyed him. Ever since he came in, it's been such a great addition. It will probably go down as one of AEW's biggest signings of all time, if not already is, maybe. Yeah. For me, it's the guy you mentioned. That's MJF at Double or Nothing. Really entertaining with the vignette that plays where you start in the house, walks into his room, and you see all of this memorabilia from iconic moments of MJF's career, which is really cool. And then just the pop he gets when the music plays. You see the Burberry scarf Titantron, which is really cool. And yeah, just a really cool moment. I was also kind of leaning towards Mercedes Moné when she debuted in AEW. I was kind of put off about it just because it was a bit obvious that she was returning that show, whereas MJF was, for me, a huge surprise. I didn't really expect it that night. But yeah. Next up, we have Hardcore Moment of the Year. What do you have for this one?
This one, I'm going back to the Sting retirement match once again, and that's going to be the Darby Allin spot off the ladder through a pane of glass and steel chairs, and basically taking himself out for the night. No one caught him on the end of that bump. He just falls straight on glass or soft glass, whatever it might have been, but nothing soft when you're flying from that high in the air.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, this hard is very hard to not give to Darby. However, I did manage to do it, and I'm giving it to Jack Perry getting set on fire, a stunt that we haven't really seen in wrestling in a long time, as far as I'm aware. And yeah, just a very cool. I know they probably did it in a very safe way. However, just the visual of it was really cool. But my close second would be the Darby falling through the glass spot.
And even him hanging from his feet, you could say the match we just seen recently, the blood and guts match with the staples going in people's necks and arms and shoulders and fingers and everything, and just everything else that happened. The unprotected chair shot, even though they did say it's kind of like a gimmick chair or whatever. Yeah. There was so much hardcore moments to go after, but of course Darby Allin is the one to take the cake. And if it wasn't none of that, it would have been the New York City bus.
Next up, we have the best or favorite title change. For this one, I'm going Cody Rhodes. This one kind of feels like a easy pick, but for me, like I said, when I gave about feel good moment, for me, I just really enjoy seeing how much it meant to Cody. Him pretty much as soon as he holds the belt, he looks up to obviously the heavens and kind of towards Dusty a little bit. And yeah, it's just it was such a huge moment that you waited so long to get, and you got it. So I gotta give it to Cody.
Yeah, I mean, I can't agree more. It has to be Cody. I don't think there's any other correct answer for the best title change. But yeah, I will say Cody.
Yep. And for next one, we have best promo / vignettes. What do you have for this one?
So for mine, it's technically not a promo, technically not a vignette, but I do count it more of a promo, and that is going to be Paul Heyman's Hall of Fame speech. Just one of the best speeches, just maybe of all time in the WWE. Just the way he talked to his kids in the beginning, kind of soft-heartedly and whatnot, and kind of spoke to his family and his upbringing, whatever. Then once he puts on that ECW hat, the trench coat and all that, he goes full Paul Heyman. Everyone knows all the quotes from there. I don't have to bring them up, but there's just so much that went on there in that promo. A lot of good stuff. I mean, he went for 30 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever it was. But just great from Paul Heyman. Happy to see him get that moment, plus everything he's done before and after the Hall of Fame speech as well. So yeah. Yeah,
when it was announced that he was being in the Hall of Fame, it was the most easy choice, but also such a deserving choice, obviously, because he is such an iconic person. But yeah, that night I remember Twitter was going crazy about how good of a promo it was, so really enjoyed that. For mine, I am going the Hangman return vignette that we've seen when he kind of finally seen the first glimpse of him. Just a real good nod to him kind of falling back into his roots and kind of going back to his evil ways almost. And the way it's kind of playing out is he's trying to get back to Swerve, but he has to help the Bucks, but he doesn't want to. So pretty good story vignette as well, which I really enjoy. And just the visuals from it as well was really good.
Yeah, hopefully that sort of leads into like maybe Hangman and Kenny when Kenny returns versus the Young Bucks. That'd be really cool to see the Elite fully split up. But yeah, really good choice there.
Yeah. For next one, we have Heel of the Year. Who do you have for this one?
So for this one, once again, kind of like a different pick. Maybe could have picked, a solo person, but I did just go with Bloodline in general. Obviously, with the beginning of the year being Roman Reigns and The Rock, just doing everything at the beginning of the year, and now they kind of faded out to do, Hollywood, whatever it might be. And now Solo, Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu, Tonga Loa. You could even include Paul Heyman in there. But yeah, so much has happened with the Bloodline, so I just kind of incorporated them all together.
Yeah, I mean, some great heelish moments from The Rock. He was going to be my pick, if I'm being honest. However, as of late, a certain Drew McIntyre has been doing some of the best heel work and best trolling I think we've seen out of anybody. Just him posting random pictures and random quotes from CM Punk's past time. Just posted a picture with Jack Perry. So yeah, I mean, he's done some incredible work in and off screen. So that has had to be mine. But to opposite the heel of the year, let's do the babyface of the year. And for me, I'm going with Sami Zayn. He is just one of the most lovable and likable characters in WWE, and if not all of wrestling. Just one of the best wrestlers as well. And there's so many moments where when he wins or gets a big moment, you feel for him more because of how much you enjoy him as a person and him as a wrestler. So, has to be my pick.
Yeah, I was thinking of putting Ospreay here, but I did just go with Cody Rhodes, just the easy pick, the biggest babyface, maybe of all time, damn near at this point. With the way that he's getting so much love from the fans, and people don't seem to be getting tired of him as quickly as what people maybe thought when he first got it. But yeah, I mean, Cody Rhodes is just a safe pick, so yeah.
Next up, feud of the year, and who do you have for this one?
I think we both may agree on this one, and that is going to be Punk and Drew McIntyre. I mean, just one of the best things going right now. There's a lot of other great feuds, such as the Toni Storm and Mariah May, and there's a lot of others as well. Rhea and Liv, there's just a lot going on, but I will go Punk and Drew.
Yeah, I agree that is probably the best. However, one of my favorite ones, just because we are kind of getting more physical action between them, is I'm going to go Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, and I guess Dominic is in there as well. Just the dynamic they've brought to TV. Some of the most craziest moments that we've seen this year have been through this storyline, in my opinion. And just, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Every week it's one of those segments where you have to look forward to watching it. And yeah, really looking forward to what's next from that. Next up, PLE / pay-per-view of the year. What do you have for this one?
I mean, this one, I didn't really necessarily want to pick Mania because I feel like I was doing a lot of Cody, Roman, whatever. But I am going to do Mania because even outside of the Cody Roman thing, there were so many great matches. I mean, there was Gunther, Sammy, and there was really just a ton of matches. Rhea, Becky out. There was just a absolute ton of good matches both nights. So I mean, I felt like it'd be kind of dumb to not pick Mania.
Yeah, I agree. I also have WrestleMania 40, pretty much all the same reasons. One of the best shows of all time as well. So, yeah. Next up, promotion of the year. Now we are going to be splitting WWE, NXT, and AEW. That's the 3 nominees, and TNA, I guess. So, yeah, what is your pick for promotion of the year?
I'm going to go with WWE. They just had a very good start to the year, kind of, I guess. It slowed down the last maybe PLE or two. Hasn't been the most amazing ones, I guess. But I do expect them to kind of pick it up moving forward from SummerSlam and on. But yeah, I'm going to go with WWE.
Yeah, promotion of the year, WWE. I think where AEW... reason why I don't have AEW win this award is just because the weekly TV isn't as great. Whereas WWE, their weekly TV is probably better than some of the pay-per-views sometimes, and because sometimes pay-per-views kind of fall flat match-wise. But yeah, that's the pay-per-views are solid, weekly TV solid, so I just have to give it to them. Next up, on the same topic, kinda, best weekly show. And who are you giving this award to?
You could kind of go either way. Obviously, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite. You could obviously go with either of those, even if you're a TNA guy. Obviously, you can see how you would like that with everything going on there as well. But, I think I still will go with Raw. Just, the whole Punk and Drew storyline. We got Liv and Rhea. We got Gunther. We got Chad Gable. We got Wyatt Six. There's not, a lot that could compare to that, in my opinion.
Yeah. I do think Raw is a close second. However, my number one is NXT. I think it is arguably some of the most entertaining weekly TV we get. And not for me, what that adds on to it is just how much difference there is between an NXT show and a WWE show, or a Raw show rather. You see a lot more people, in my opinion, and for me, NXT isn't afraid to show some, I guess, random people. A guy like Javon Evans, who came in, was just a PC trainer, and then was, as soon as people got hyped behind him, he went and is having world championship matches now. So
yeah. Joe Hendry showing up, Jordan Grace showing up, Sexy Red showing up. There's a lot going on in NXT for sure.
Yeah. Next up, now we're kind of getting to the big awards here. We're gonna go with Match of the Year, and who do you have for this one?
So for this one, I could definitely see a big majority of people going Cody Roman. There's a ton of matches that you could realistically go with here. However, maybe it's recency bias, but I am going to go MJF versus Ospreay in their near 60-minute banger on Dynamite recently on free TV. Ospreay loses the title in just a shock almost. But yeah, it was a shock that it went 60 minutes in the first place. It was a shock that MJF won, and they do the whole respirator thing, easy dub, and MJF wins. Very surprising, great match. A little long for my taste, obviously. 60 minutes is a bit much for me, but whenever you're that good in the ring, you still did keep my attention. So yeah, I think that'll be my pick.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. One of the best TV matches we've seen in the past few years across all promotions, I would say. However, I do have a Will Ospreay match as my match of the year, and that is Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson at Dynasty. This is arguably probably my top 5 favorite matches of all time. Obviously, it incorporates 2 of my favorite wrestlers, so that adds points to it. But just the selling. Will Ospreay not wanting to use the Tiger Driver, but uses it, hurts Danielson. That has been playing into storylines with Ospreay throughout since then, pretty much. And Danielson does some crazy selling, sometimes a bit overselling it and kind of scary selling things, but I still kind of enjoy it. But yeah, 2 of the best of all time. Got in the ring, put it on one of the best matches. So yeah, really enjoyed that. Next up, we have Tag Team of the Year, and who is your pick for this one?
So for this one, sort of a weird pick, but at the same time, the rule we kind of went with this was if it is more than 2 people in AEW, it'll count, but if it's more than 2 people in WWE, it does not count, and that's because AEW has trio titles, and WWE doesn't. So with that being said, even though the team I'm about to mention doesn't even have the trio titles, it is the Elite as a whole. The Bucks are the tag champions, Okada is a champion, Jack Perry is a champion. Since the arrival of the Bucks as their new EVP heel characters, since the Sting retirement match was announced, they've been amazing as heels. At first, I wasn't really behind another Bucks heel run. We've seen this before, never lasts, but this one does seem to last. They're doing a good job, they're actually playing into it a lot more than they have in the past. And yeah, I've just really been enjoying the Elite.
Yeah. For me, I'm going Nathan Frazier and Axiom from NXT. I think they are probably the most consistent tag team as of right now. And for me, tag team wrestling this year has probably been at one of the lower points, I'd say. We've had a few banger tag team matches. However, I feel like just Nathan Frazier and Axiom take the cake here. And like I said, they've been holding the tag team champions on NXT for quite a bit now. And they've put on banger matches with so many different tag teams with different styles. So I kind of have to give them the award here.
Yeah, like you said, this has just been an awful year for tag team wrestling, honestly. It looked like we were potentially going to see a big women's tag team push when Jade and Bianca were champions, because it kind of looked like they were going to transition to more tag team wrestling in the women's division, but it really has came to nothing. Alba and Isla currently have it, and yeah, it hasn't really been a lot, and not much on the AEW side either.
Yeah. Now, for our penultimate award, we have Women's Wrestler of the Year. Who are you going with?
Yeah, this was probably the hardest one to pick out of all of them. There's a lot of really good women. Some of the ones I kind of narrowed it down to was Mi Chin. I wanted to put Roxanne, but she just didn't really have enough matches. There's a lot of people that you could count: Rhea, Becky, Bailey, Liv, whoever you might want to count. But the one I came down to was Willow Nightingale. I feel like she was the most consistent. She had really good matches, really good feuds. She's currently in a really good feud with Chris Statlander, Chris Stokely. And yeah, just been really fun to see everything she's been doing, because I wasn't really a fan of her before the start of this year. But as she's been getting used more, she became TBS champion and everything. I have got behind her a lot more. And I really like Willow Nightingale, and I'm happy to see what she does next.
Yeah, she's one of those people similar to Sami Zayn, maybe not to the full extent, but she's one of the most lovable and likable characters. So whenever you see her getting turned on by, Chris, it was like wow, that sucks. That had to be Willow. But obviously, it's just wrestling, it's kayfabe stuff. So yeah, I always love watching Willow, and she's definitely had a great year. Yeah. For me, I am going to stay in AEW. However, I'm going with the world champion, that is Toni Storm. In ring, she could improve. Obviously, there's not been too many outstanding matches. However, the matches that I kind of look back at this year is the one with Mina Shirakawa. The Deonna Purrazzo match was pretty solid. The Serena Deeb match was okay, a little bit boring at times, but was still an alright match. But I think what really carries her this year is her character work that she's been bringing. Some of the funniest moments have come through Toni Storm this year, and now we're going to kind of get a full 180 where we go from funny to serious, and something kind of scary almost between her and Mariah May. So really excited to see what she has for the rest of the year planned out. And yeah, she's my women's wrestler of the half year.
Yeah, for sure. One of the best storylines in women's wrestling. One of the best characters in all of wrestling, not even just women's. But yeah, Toni Storm, great pick, and I'm really looking forward to their all-in match.
All right, now we have the final award, and that is the Men's Wrestler of the Year. And who are you picking for your winner?
So this is another one where, I mean, there is a wide variety of people you could pick for this for multiple different reasons. Whether they just had really good matches throughout the year, whether they've just been consistent throughout the year, just storylines, just funny moments, good moments, anything it could be. Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Will Ospreay, MJF. Like, there's literally so many people. But the one that I came down to, who I think had the best matches all year long, had the most matches that were really good, headlined all pay-per-views, was a world champion, and is currently a world champion leading into All In, and that is Swerve Strickland. Obviously, I've been a big fan of him since I started watching AEW. He was kind of one of the early ones who I kind of took a liking to, along with Darby Allin and a few others. And back then he didn't seem like world champion, but maybe not material isn't the right word, but didn't seem like he was in that picture really. But starting at the end of last year / beginning of this year, he really took off, improved a lot. His character work is really good. His promos are amazing. And yeah, that's probably where his biggest improvement was his promos, because he's always been able to go in the ring. And Swerve Strickland, just all his matches with MJF or with Ospreay, with Adam Page, some more with Joe. Like, there's just been so many matches from him, and he's got all AEW behind him at the moment. Between him and Will, they're the two faces of the company right now, alongside Mercedes Moné as well. But yeah, very happy to see where Swerve has been going and what he's doing, and he's likely gonna headline All In this year. So obviously a huge moment to headline an event like that. And yeah, Swerve Strickland, he's just been amazing all year long.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think obviously what really helped him was the initial tag team with him and Keith Lee. I think that was great. Had a lot of people behind that. And then once he had the first encounters with Hangman, I think that is probably what's gonna boost him the most, I would say, from where he was to where he is now. And yeah, just phenomenal half year from him. So really enjoy that pick. For me, however, I am going with probably the more basic pick here. That's Will Ospreay. Again, I just think he probably puts on probably the best match every night, if not top two. And not only that, his matches, again, I think everybody knows at this point, but also the character work that we've seen with him do on Dynamite and stuff like that has been pretty solid. I wasn't too familiar with how his promos were pre-AEW because I, wasn't watching New Japan and other promotions that he was appearing in. But since watching him in AEW, I've really enjoyed it. He seems more likable, more like relatable and stuff like that. He has his own personal demons and things that he has to overcome to make him who he is, and he shows a great way to do that. So yeah, really enjoyed him, and that's my pick.
Yeah, I'm very happy for Will Ospreay because I know, whenever they were kind of having the debate on, is Ospreay going to go to WWE and whatnot, and then he did finally decide to go to AEW. Triple H does that interview where he was like, kind of dissed him a little bit, not necessarily by name or anything, but sort of dissed him, saying that, if you want to run away from the grind or whatever. But he has been showing up every week. He has improved character-wise. I didn't know anything about Ospreay leading up to AEW because I watched nothing outside of WWE and AEW, and just the little time he's been in AEW, I'm fully behind him. I love his theme music. He's obviously one of the greatest in ring. His promos are just through the roof, so much better now. Then yeah, just really good, funny as well. Like, he has everything that you want in a world champion. So whenever we do finally get the big moment of him versus Swerve again, and he eventually does win the world title, that'll be a huge moment for him. And yeah, I can't wait for that.
Yeah. But yeah, that was going to do it for us for our half-year awards. Let us know your winners for each award down in the comments below. And if you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. We will be back at the end of the year with the full year awards. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video.